Coming up on Valley View News, LA garment workers protest for better working conditions.
The workers who marched here represent over 20,000 garment workers just here in downtown LA.
Plus, where you can compost your food scraps. And police are warning about the dangers of distracted driving.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Maximus Osborne.
And I'm Sonia Hugh.
We begin our show with some developing news. At least 4 people are dead and 9 injured after a mass shooting in Louisville, Kentucky. It happened Monday morning at the Old National Bank. Police confirmed that the shooter is dead. The gunman, identified as 23-year-old Connor Surgeon, was a previous employee and used an AR-15. He was allegedly on notice he would be fired. As of Monday afternoon, authorities say 3 of the injured are in critical condition. One of them is a 26-year-old Louisville police officer, Nicholas Wilt. The police chief says Wilt had just graduated from the police academy days ago. Officials said police were on the scene in minutes. It is not yet confirmed if the suspect was shot by the police or if he turned the gun on himself.
A historic update in the LA Unified School District. 99% of district workers approved a new labor agreement over the weekend. It comes after a 3-day strike and lengthy negotiations between the district and the SEIU Local 99. The agreement includes a 30% pay raise and fully paid health benefits for 30,000 employees, including cafeteria workers and custodians. The union says the deal increases salary from $25,000 to $33,000 a year. The school district says it will bring base pay to $22.52 an hour, higher than the state and city minimum. The deal will now go to the LAUSD Board of Education for approval.
LA's garment workers are rallying to protest against a plan to turn the LA's fashion district into a luxury hotel and apartment hub. Valley View News' Zina Taher was in downtown LA with what demonstrators are demanding.
The sound of chanting echoed through downtown LA's fashion district as dozens of protesters made their way from the Garment Workers Center to City Hall.
The workers who marched here represent over 20,000 garment workers just here in downtown LA.
The garment workers behind me make clothes like the ones that I'm wearing right now, and they are here in front of City Hall today because they say that luxury developments planned for downtown LA are going to threaten their livelihoods and their jobs.
Over the last 9 years, the city has been developing a plan for the fashion district. This plan is going to displace factories and replace them with luxury housing, luxury hotels.
Garment workers say gentrification isn't the only issue they face.
These shameless salaries to begin with. The buildings are in really bad conditions.
The U.S. Labor Department says an estimated 80% of SoCal garment manufacturers commit labor violations. Some workers are paid as little as $1.58 an hour. Tsul says staff are too scared to speak out.
They are afraid to lose their jobs. They'll only be seen on the media.
Garment workers say they'll show up to city council meetings until they see the changes they want. Reporting from downtown LA for Valley View News, I'm Zina Taher.
Zina, thank you. The city council has not yet commented on the rally. Meantime, thousands rallied in West Hollywood Park over the weekend in response to an anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed a law that would criminalize drag performances. There have been similar attitudes in other states' legislatures. Speakers at the rally advocated for trans and LGBTQ+ rights and furthering social equality.
On a national level, the Biden administration is pushing a law that will forbid schools and colleges from banning transgender athletes. It must go through a hard approval process against many Republican leaders. 16 states already have active bans on high school sports, some in the club or college level. The rule would be added to the country's Title IX law, which encompasses gender equity. It does leave room for schools to decide on restrictions.
Public school enrollment has dropped statewide, but homelessness among students has gone up. The California Department of Education says the number of students experiencing homelessness increased by 9% this school year. That means 16,000 more students are experiencing housing instability compared to last year. Researchers point to a lack of affordable housing as the driving force behind the increase. The new data comes a month after California lawmakers proposed a bill that would give homeless high school seniors $1,000 of income per month. California has nearly 190,000 unhoused students enrolled in public schools statewide.
The city of Los Angeles is under heavy criticism over a controversial plan to deter homelessness. LA has been playing loud classical music in train stations in hopes to reduce crime and prevent homeless people from loitering. The LA Times reports classical music by Beethoven and Mozart is being played in the Westlake MacArthur Park station. An LA Metro spokesperson says the music isn't loud, with a setting of 72 decibels. The Times claims it ranged from 83 to 90 decibels, which compares to lawnmowers known to cause hearing damage. LA Metro has said that it's creating a comfortable atmosphere for short periods of time.
A dry California is a thing of the past. The series of rain and snowstorms have refilled 12 out of 17 of the state's major reservoirs. It's a huge turnaround considering that late last year, nearly all of California was in a drought. Officials say the drought isn't technically over because certain areas are still drier than others. They still recommend limiting water use.
LA residents will soon see a rise in gas prices during the upcoming weeks. Valley View News' Reina Torres tells us what's happening.
Angelenos will soon see another spike in gas prices. Analysts say it could be up to a 26-cent per gallon increase in the next few weeks. A student says if prices rise, he will then minimize his trips.
If I drive this far, I'm gonna have to spend this amount of this amount of money on gas. Oh, can I drive over here because I have to save money to be able to afford gas to go to school, to go to work.
Analysts say part of the problem is that starting in May, Saudi Arabia and other OPEC oil producers will cut production by more than 1 million barrels a day through the end of the year. This customer at an Arco gas station in Northridge spends almost $60 to fill up her tank, with the average price of nearly $5 for a gallon for unleaded premium. And a student says he's limiting his driving.
Pay like $30 a week. Now it's like $60, $50, and it was easier back then because I used to do Postmates, like Uber Eats and stuff, and I can't even do that now because it barely even covers the cost of gas.
AAA says the current spike in prices does not include the hike expected when refineries switch to a summer blend fuel. To save a couple of bucks at the pump, experts say you can pay with cash or make sure your tires are properly inflated. Reporting from Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Reina Torres.
Reina, thank you. Gas prices aren't the only thing to worry about this spring. The recent rainstorms are creating prime conditions for allergies. Allergists say all the greenery will make things especially difficult for those who are sensitive to tree pollen. They say pollen levels could stay high as late as July.
3 California condors are dead after catching the avian flu in northern Arizona. 5 other birds in the flock has also died, but authorities are still trying to figure out what killed them. The flock usually moves through northern Arizona and southern Utah and be spotted at the Grand Canyon. The National Park Services hasn't detected avian flu in California or Baja California populations. Humans have a low risk of contracting the virus, although they have been infected before in the past.
Norovirus, sometimes referred to as the stomach flu, is also emerging in California. Officials say there has been hundreds of cases statewide, though it's hard to determine the exact number of outbreaks because patients don't usually require lab testing for confirmation. The norovirus can cause nausea, vomiting, and stomach pain. It's highly contagious and spreads through direct contact with an infected person or consuming contaminated food or water. It comes after an elementary school in Long Beach had to be shut down due to an outbreak. Health officials recommend washing your hands with soap and water to protect yourself and others.
More to come on Valley View News. Honduras is fighting gang violence and an update on abortion access. Stay with us.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. There's added restrictions for women in Afghanistan. Andrea Peña Reyes is in our digital media center with the details. Andrea?
Yes, that's right. More on that in just a few moments. But we start with news out of Jerusalem, where tension grew over the weekend after Israel responded to rocket attacks from Syria. The country military says 6 rockets were launched from Syria to Israel in 2 separate batches. 3 were intercepted. The strike happened hours before Jewish worshippers gathered in Jerusalem as they celebrate Easter. No damage were reported, and it's still unclear if there's any injuries. China says it started 3 days of combat of readiness patrol exercise around Taiwan. It comes just a day after the president of Taiwan met with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. China says the mission forces will organize combat patrols around Taiwan and close in on the island to increase island-wide military intimidation. Taiwan military says it detected 42 fighter jets in the airspace. In a video, Taiwan says that military will be monitoring the situation and will let it escalate. Honduras has extended emergency powers to fight massive gangs until May. President Xiomara Castro deployed soldiers across the nation to fight the violent groups. The policy covers the 123 local districts and allows authorities to restrict freedom of movement and assembly. It also allows police to make arrests without warrant. In a statement, the government says this third extension will help capture hundreds of gang members. The Taliban has banned Afghan women from working at the United Nations in Afghanistan. It adds yet another restriction to the long list the Taliban has imposed on Afghan women since retaking power in August 2021. A UN spokesperson says the orders violate fundamental rights of women and break the principle of non-discrimination. The Taliban has been accusing women in the UN offices of not following hijab dress code. Police in Hamburg, Germany warned people to close their windows after a massive fire, and several warehouses sent black chemical-laden smoke drifting over the city. It happened over the weekend in the city's larger district. The smoke drifted from there toward the city center. It halted long-distance trains between Hamburg, Berlin, and other cities. A public safety alert was sent to people to close windows and turn off any ventilation system. No injuries were reported. I'm Andrea Peña Reyes. Back to you in the studio.
Andrea, thank you. Microsoft is turning to a court order to take down a ransomware hacking tool that targeted hospitals. It obtained the court order from the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. It all stems from a cyber attack that's been happening for years, a tool that was designed to help companies check their cyber defenses, but it has been manipulated to launch ransomware attacks. Microsoft says it will cost millions of dollars to repair. It has caused delay to chemotherapy and other treatments nationwide. The legal move is a rare action by a tech leader to target malicious hackers' tools.
The world's biggest memory chip maker is now saying it will make a meaningful cut to chip production. This after sales dropped sharply, plunging sales by 96% in first quarter profits. It comes just months after smartphone and personal computer makers ramped up purchases of chips during the COVID-19 pandemic when demand for consumer soared as people were stuck at home during lockdowns. However, demand has decreased as consumers cut back on bigger purchases amid the cost of living crisis, with food and energy bills soaring.
England is banning wet wipes to tackle water pollution. Water UK says that flushdown wipes caused 93% of sewage blockages. 90% of the wipes contain plastic. The plastic doesn't break down, sticking to pipes and infiltrating to water. In 2018, the government planned to eliminate plastic waste. Companies like Boots and Tesco have stopped their sales of their wipes.
Here, locally, there are other ways to help the environment. Valley View News' Micah Hall visited a farmer's market drop-off for compost. He has more on their locations.
LA Compost is a nonprofit organization that interacts with their community through volunteering opportunities and workshops. Kenny Derrick is the Westside Regional Hub Manager and is collecting compost at Playa Vista's Farmers Market.
Gardens just happen to be a space where we can do both of those things. We can process food waste, turn it into some really nutrient-dense, really beneficial soil amendment that will feed future generations.
Acceptable items include the scraps of fruits and vegetables and material that is made from trees. Compost also gets weighed. Participant Paul Young is here today with his daughter. He explains their routine.
We keep compost on our kitchen counter, put it into the garage, so vegetable scraps, just things at home, and we bring down about 5 pounds every Saturday.
Full bins are transported to a local community compost hub managed by LA Compost.
This provides an incredibly good way to keep our food for a week and then bring it and compost it.
LA Compost does not accept plastic, meat or dairy, and human or animal waste.
Really, our main mission is to divert food scraps and organic material out of landfills, but ultimately we do want to bring people together as well through the soil.
Mike Martinez is the founder of LA Compost, and the organization began in 2013. 2 other compost drop-off events took place today. They are known as Crenshaw's Farmers Market and the Silver Lake Farmers Market. Reporting from Playa Vista, I'm Michael Hall.
Micah, thank you. The U.S. Justice Department is appealing a Texas federal judge's ruling that would effectively ban a key abortion drug. The judge ordered the FDA to repeal its approval of mifepristone last week, but the government wants to keep the drug on the market until a decision is made about the appeal. The Justice Department says the people who filed the lawsuit were not personally harmed by the pill, so they had no right to sue. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom announced this week California has stockpiled 2 million pills of another abortion drug, misoprostol.
The Metropolitan Nashville Council voted to temporarily appoint one of 2 ousted members to return to the legislature. Representative Justin Jones is set to return to his seat as an interim representative. A special meeting is being called by the Shelby County Board of Commissioners to consider reappointing Representative Justin Pearson, who was also expelled from the legislature. The decision comes after Republican lawmakers were accused of racism for evicting the pair who are both African American. They were expelled last week after they protested on the chamber floor against gun violence. The Democratic representatives were accused of bringing, quote, disorder and dishonor to the House. Representative Gloria Johnson was almost kicked out of the House, but there were not enough votes in favor of expelling her. She says she was not punished because she was white.
When we come back, Tesla is expanding once again. Also, the most anticipated movie of the year is coming to the box office. Stay with us.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. Colombian singer Karol G is calling out GQ magazine Mexico for photoshopping her photo on their most recent cover. The 32-year-old shared the edited cover on an Instagram post alongside a bare-faced selfie with the caption, "My face doesn't look like this. My body doesn't look like that. I'm happy and comfortable with my natural look." The reggaeton artist said she was excited to be part of the magazine cover, but the experience left her feeling disrespected. She said she made her stance against the photo retouches clear. However, she says the publication did not take her preferences into account. GQ Mexico has not commented on the incident. You know, some of our colleagues in the newsroom was just saying she doesn't need the edits. She looks great.
Yeah, I can't believe they kind of just went behind her back on that. I would feel disrespected for sure if someone made me taller or something like that, you know? Grey's Anatomy actress Katerina Scorsone and her 3 children recently survived a house fire at her Pasadena home. Scorsone posted on Instagram that the fire unfolded quickly and her children were getting ready for bed. The actress saw a cloud of thick black smoke coming from the hallway. She managed to get her 3 children out of the house with less than a shoe. However, they lost their 4 pets, 3 cats, and a dog in the fire. Scorsone concludes her post by expressing gratitude to everyone who supported them during this terrible period, including her neighbor who answered her knocks, the fire department, the investigators, and her Grey's Anatomy family for sending clothing and supplies.
Titanic actor Leonardo DiCaprio testified in the trial of ex-Fugees rapper Pras Mitchell. Mitchell is accused of receiving more than $100 million from Malaysian billionaire Joe Low to influence U.S. politicians. According to allegations, Low has stolen billions from Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund in the 1MDB scheme. Mitchell is accused of illegally donating to U.S. presidential campaigns using an illegal network of third parties paid with foreign funds. DiCaprio was asked about his connection to Low. The actor told the jurors he met Low during a party in Las Vegas in 2010 and continues to attend multiple lavish parties at Low's invitation. The actor's 2013 film Wolf of Wall Street was partly funded by a firm tied to Low. DiCaprio is not the only Hollywood actor who may testify in Mitchell's trial. Actors Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, and director Martin Scorsese could also be asked to testify.
In addition to their California manufacturing plant, Tesla tweeted that it is creating another factory in Shanghai that is set to produce up to 10,000 megapacks a year. Tesla is now able to produce 22,000 cars per week, thanks to Shanghai's lower costs of producing batteries. It could also mean lower costs globally on the consumer side as well, as China is the global leader of battery supply chains.
April is National Distracted Driving Month, and local law enforcement agencies are warning about the dangers of it. Valley View News' Isabella Warren tells us how you can stay safe on the road.
Distracted driving, one of the fastest growing safety issues on the roads today. Data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows distracted driving killed 3,142 people in 2020.
That's the use of cell phones. But it can be other things. It can be eating and drinking, applying makeup, handling touchscreens in your phone, talking to a passenger.
April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. AAA and local law enforcement agencies are informing drivers on how they can stay focused on the road. A video PSA created by AAA shows just how easy it was to find distracted drivers on the road.
The Auto Club is encouraging all drivers to make sure they put their phones down or out of reach so they're not tempted to use it. Set your driving focus features, which limit the calls and the texts that come in when the vehicle is in motion.
Jim Jones survived being hit by a distracted driver 9 years ago when he was run over while walking in a crosswalk. He was struck by a 19-year-old driver talking on the phone.
First they were told I was dead, and then they were told I was not dead, but severely injured. We're losing too many people young and old.
He hopes his accident helps make drivers aware of the danger of being distracted behind the wheel.
You can take the pledge to not drive distracted by going to AAA.com. Reporting in Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Isabella Warren.
Isabella, thank you. Taylor Swift and British actor Joe Alwyn broke up after 6 years together. A close source to the singer tells CNN that the couple grew apart but will remain friends. Swift and Alwyn started dating in 2016 but kept it a secret for a few years. In 2019, there were rumors that the couple was engaged. The actor had collaborated on some of Swift's albums, including Evermore and Folklore, which won 2021 Grammys for Album of the Year. Swift is currently touring on her highly requested Eras Tour.
It's a Barbie world. The new upcoming Greta Gerwig film Barbie takes fans down memory lane. Margot Robbie plays Barbie and Ryan Gosling plays Ken, but they are not the only ones playing Barbie and Ken dolls. New character posters reveal that singer Dua Lipa plays a Barbie mermaid, actor Simu Liu as another Ken, Helen Mirren as the narrator, and other familiar faces like America Ferrera, Will Ferrell, and Issa Rae. The film's plot hasn't been fully revealed, but it's believed to follow Robbie and Gosling's character as they stumble into the real world. Barbie will premiere in theaters this summer. You know, I am so excited for this film. Did you know that Ryan Gosling said that this is the best screenplay he's ever read?
I did see that, and if Ryan Gosling says it, it must be true. The LA Clippers needed everything they had to beat the Phoenix Suns and secure the 5th seed in the Western Conference playoffs. That's including overcoming a brief heated disagreement on the bench between Mason Plumlee and Bones Hyland over what appeared to be a defensive breakdown on a possession seconds earlier. The Clippers took a win 119 to 114. Clippers coach Ty Lue said the two players cleared the air and moved past the argument. The Clippers will face the Suns in a best-of-7 first-round series starting this Sunday in Phoenix.
Sam Hughes' moment after beating Jacqueline Amorim at the UFC 287 prelims unintentionally admitted that her boyfriend had bet $1,000 on her to win. Yikes. UFC conduct policy states athletes and close friends are not allowed to bet on sports or events that they have ties to. At her post-fight conference, Hughes jokingly told reporters she plans to enjoy her boyfriend's $1,000 personally. Hughes won by unanimous decision in dominant fashion. Max, you're a UFC fan. What do you think?
Yeah, first of all, really great performance, but yeah, they take betting very seriously. They have been known to ban several coaches and fighters for betting scandals, so yeah. The San Diego Zoo announced the birth of twin Amur leopards. The wildcats are part of a critically endangered species. It is estimated that there are less than 300 of Amur leopards in the world, and 100 living in the wild. The World Wild Fund says hunters target this type of leopard because of its thick skin and spotted coat. The baby cubs mark the third Amur leopard litter born at the San Diego Zoo. Zoo Wildlife Care Manager Gayleen Thomas says every new birth brings hope to the species.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Sonia Hugh.
And I'm Maximus Osborne. For stories at any time of the day, go to our website, CSUNValleyView.com. Thanks for watching.